Welcome everyone. Please engender the attitude of bodhicitta, the wish to bring all sentient beings as vast a number as space onto the level of perfect Buddha. And now that we have generated bodhicitta, the dharma that we are going to listen to is on the 3 trainings. And from the 3 trainings, we have already finished talking about discipline, and today we will talk about samadhi, or meditative concentration. So from among shamatha and vipassana, we will be talking about shamatha. But whatever you're meditating, whether it be shamatha or vipassana, there are first 3 things that you need to keep in mind. So the first of those 3 is the aspect of the body. The body should be relaxed and at ease. So, and if you would like to go into more detail about the aspect of the body for meditation, then for that we have the 7-point posture of Vairochana. The first point is that the legs should be crossed, either in the full lotus position or in a half lotus position. And the body should be straight, the spine should be straight, but not forced. It should be straight in a relaxed way. Don't bend your shoulders forwards. You should keep them backwards a little bit. The hands should be in the mudra of meditative concentration, and there are various kinds, but for now we have this kind of mudra. For this mudra, keep the right hand on top of the left hand, and then place your thumbs together like this, and then rest it on your thighs.
tes malungu gore.
The head, the neck should be bent very slightly forward. Don't really bend it forward like this, but just a little bit forward.
Ani tene kabla mik naze la pap sagre. Mik naze pap na tserang taga mare. Di suba tegar tegang des mala yoba dene tongzi chuna digre. Mik hule chine. Hyuk jamde dana dig mare.
It's said that the eyes should be focused on the tip of the nose, but it doesn't mean you have to actually stare at the tip of the nose. It's just that you keep them down so that you're seeing your body.
Ni lung rangbap. Lung nazo lung utang gorwa. Ude rangshin la sha sha gore.
And as for the winds, the energy, we should be breathing naturally. So keep the breath as it is.
Ni chungzo na lung kade tes dang. Ne che de gang la ken la tu zi che. Ubde dine kane tang tabje dang na. Namdo nyungdo dwe la pento gore.
And then another aspect of the subtle winds, you should keep your tongue touching the upper palate inside the mouth, and then breathe slightly through the mouth. Instead, if you breathe through the mouth, then your disturbing, afflicting thoughts will reduce a little bit.
Ani kane dangbo kane dang yungdo tes kale yungdo re. Tene ina nane dang sha na yungdo gore.
And for beginners, it might be a little difficult to breathe through the mouth in the beginning, so it's fine if you also breathe through the nose at first.
Ani kab la tene yang ka so gore. Tene hene mambo kom yungdo pe subu nyobdo chagang so daw dang. Ani ni kudo chagang daw dang tom cha se gore. Tene chung na lakwa de pimu kang la sha. Rimba mal kang chagyo de ya la ta. Mik de tegar dane. Dinye chebe chuna yabu yore.
And sometimes, if we sit like this, the body can become like a bit too sleepy and we can start feeling dull. So when that happens, you place your hands on your knees and then lift up your head and gaze straight forward. So we can alternate these two types of sitting.
Ani dene mambo tene yang namdo mambo lebgare. Ani karasa gore. Yengcha. Yang nam yang shu chung mambo lege yudu yang malende che. Tene ko namdo nyungdo dwe le pendo gore.
And then if we sit like that, it can happen that we get a lot of distracting thoughts and we get distracted by things easily. So when that happens, then again you sit in the other position and gaze slightly down, and then your disturbing or distracted thoughts will decrease.
Ani dami tangba neba daw dang, pume neba dang, keba neba dang zina. Toje jilung saga, samba jilung saga dene, namang chudang kala khabarwa. Chidang korang te dewu chikla. Kubja kala te nanda kande na korang te dewu chik. Subul hubu yoba. Ina chundan digare.
And for some people, they might have pains in the body, in the knees, or in the back, or wherever. It might hurt for them to sit in the lotus posture. So if that is the case, then you can just sit however is relaxed for you. So it's important that you're at ease.
Ni ta subu yi dorna, rangbo dang, ani hubu, ni nangla dugare.
So if we want to summarize the points of the body, they are contained in the two aspects of being relaxed and at ease and kind of straight or like stable.
Ani ngak ji, tini keja sangin parma kare yana ra tsangma, samchok chayare.
And now for the aspect of the speech, you're supposed to stop any kind of talking, whether it may be helpful or unhelpful, good or bad.
Tiri kabla kandun yang chebo mare.
And at that time, you're also not supposed to recite anything.
Kandun tsar ni juk daw dang, kandun yang go daw dang, tenelo kom jam dan digro. Kandun kabla kandun re. Ani tanda 신내劳动 미바 검두 네 된서 상마 참조해야 돼. 나지 자와서 그래.
Mhm. So if we want to meditate in this way, then we should do that after we stop our recitation, after we stop our chanting. When we chant, we're chanting. And yeah, so that's kind of the point about speech in terms of meditating on shamatha and vipassana.
이 얘기에 아니 다 그래서 그래. 템바. 저도 얘기고네 자오조도 템바고 그래.
For the mind, the main thing that we need is mindfulness.
템바 세대다 나가 담는 방법 요래데 단다 신내劳动 고민에 가르치기 위해서 디디 아니 가서 그래. 마 템바 맞아 삼지 고 신내 가서 옥진고로 좀 고민 되게 위해나 나 옥진고 공부에다 냐면절로데 뢰마당 삼지 미기 산제지 고바로당 고다오당 다 덴델라 잘 되게 위해나 다 되게 위해나 내밀지 잘라들라 다 되게 냐면지 덴데지 되는 맞아 삼지 돼야 돼
Mhm.
아니 얘기 노래
And for mindfulness, what we call mindfulness, there are different kinds of explanation. And for the context of shamatha, what it means is basically not to forget what I'm supposed to do, what I'm doing now. For example, if you're breathing on the breath, sorry, if you're meditating on the breath, on the in breath and the out breath, then to not forget that this is what you're meditating on. Or, for example, if you have a different object of focus, like you are meditating on a statue of the Buddha, then to just mindfulness here means to just keep this thought. I will keep my focus on the statue and to only do that.
onda dis sum shi shang ne 아니 디 지땡도 되는 가서 그래 이제 당보 잡로 아니 셈게 아니 공무원을 줘야 된서 림바 몽보지 림바 가시에다 계정도 몽보지 그래 디나네 니 상제바 지문에 삼노나 뭐 잡로 지 살다 보래
So then, taking these 3 points as the basis, what do we do on top of that? What do we do on top of that basis for our meditation? Well, in the beginning, we first start with going for refuge and meditating on bodhicitta, generating the mind of awakening. So these are the practices that we do before our meditation of shamatha. And there are various ways to do this, some very extensive ways and some like medium and some very, very concise ways of doing that. So generally, that is something that is done by all Buddhists in general, taking refuge.
나 잡로 데 눈이 남갈라 도마 좀 된대 제 아니 예인데 발라 초주 뒤숨제 산제 탐제당 장제 선바 탐제 거리에선 아니 데로 산제데 꾸데 겐든 송데 탐제 토데 되는 산제레 템베 강네 아니 뒤디네 장주마도 제 버도 나다 섬제 탐제 산제지 제수 잡선 조빈 데네게네 삼어진단 거래
And again,
구 산제지 구 겐든
ah,
송 탐제 또 산제
mm. So for this practice of refuge, we should imagine or visualize in front that Buddha Shakyamuni appears in the space in front of us. And surrounding him are all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and the 10 directions. And here for our visualization, the body, speech, and mind, the enlightened body, speech, and mind are represented as respectively the enlightened body is represented as the Sangha, and the enlightened mind is represented as the Buddha, and the enlightened speech is represented as the Dharma. So these aspects are there in our visualization.
단데 원로 인도잖아 아니 셈 잡로지 식는소 소소 된대야나 잡로지 식 렌숨 나서봐 된대 아니 ni kyabzu duna jegere la ane tsik mandun bajan tonda jibo samlo tanda yan jegere.
So for this preliminary practice, if you would like to recite the words of bodhicitta and going for refuge, that's fine. You can chant it 3 times, for example. But if you want, then you can also start the practice without reciting anything and just meditate on the meaning.
Ni tanda nga zo chukzi. Ni kyabil de saltam ne dine chanchung bazo ki bardo. Ni sanje ji chesun chung ne kyabzu jogu yin nyamba de yanja yanja. Tema ashe samlo taro na.
Mm. And now we will just apply that a little bit and try that. And please think a little bit on the meaning of this, of refuge and bodhicitta.
Baso. Dine de chala nyeba chanchu chodo sem gebe kola yang samlo tango gore.
Mm. And then we also need to contemplate on generating bodhicitta.
Ni sem geba de anu sozo, tangbo sozo la samlo tang. Nge shoba lang ne sem manya bardo. Ne kare chigaye, kangi chedo chigaye. Lega dam, minda sangma. Ne samlo ka nanglo kor yongdu dewa tobe chedo tang tungal panya chedo yimbare. Dewa dowa, di nangshin nge pama yinanda, ane nge nyen nye kordo, chobo chongmo, laso pa che yundu dowa dodo samjin kangbo, dewa dogu yoba sosu dan chikbare, tungal mendo bayan chikbare. Ane ta dewa da tungal di sawa di kanga to yore se du sem no to dogu yore. Sem yabo chwe matumna, ane kare chena yang dewa yang da baja top dogu mare. Sem di chwe to sona, 내가 간절라 돈아야 내가 양도 뭐 도구 요리잖아 는 셈죄 탑신 낭내 약쇼디 범자래 디 낭내데 렘바 당보데 신내로 와 어디 신내되네 아니 섬전 담지 당신 섬전 담지 동안 전에 매번 써야지 근데 검지 잡이 내봐지
Mm.
근데 섬도 다 해라
Mm. So for bodhicitta, we first start contemplating on ourself. From the moment that I get up in the morning to when I fall asleep in the evening, what is it that I do during the day? Any activity that I do, what is it for? It is so that I might get happiness and that I might not suffer. That's why we're doing all these things. So then, once we establish that, we consider all other sentient beings, and starting with our parents, our father and mother, our relatives, and our friends, and then all other sentient beings. So we think about them. They also want happiness in the same way, and they don't want to suffer. You should contemplate on this. So then, once that is established, the root of both suffering and happiness is mind. The main what it mainly comes down to. If you're not able to keep your mind well, then there is no way that you can be happy. And if you are able to keep it well, then whatever happens, you will be happy. So, um, and because of that, it's very important to meditate for our happiness because it depends on the mind. So we should consider that this is the reason why we are going to meditate now. I'm going to do this meditation to benefit all sentient beings so that I can cut their suffering at the root.
니도 semje deya ane semje ji tsik gyore yo na de gyone ne len sum len nga la so ba gyone samla dana yan jigere la sik ma gyor ba che an tanda ji bo samla dana yan jigere.
And also for bodhicitta, same as with refuge, if you would like to recite the words or the chant on bodhicitta and contemplate through that recitation, then that's fine. But if you would like to only meditate on the meaning without chanting any words, that's also fine.
Ni danda nga so gyok tsi yang de semje ko la samla dana yi.
Now we will contemplate for a short while on bodhicitta.
La so ini de ju la rimbo sumba de so solde bje che tum na ni yang go yore.
Now, for the last of the three stages, if we can make a supplication or a prayer, that would be good.
Ni ka sa solde ma je na ani semje sa bu ju lan te gar ani kom jam dan de yore.
And if you would not like to do a supplication or a prayer, then it is also fine to just immediately start meditating after the stage of generating bodhicitta.
Ani solde bje ndo yore na ani tenji chum den de sha je do ba. No kom de ro wa de ani kara so re chokju tu sum je sanje tham je ni ngo yin ba sal dam ne de la de ne solde bje re ani tu sum sanje tham je ni ngo ani chum den de ke ken an ke je da la de ne kar so re shi ne ya bu kon ye je ne che la dang ngo du an tuen jin sang ma na ro nang to ji se ro che nge shi ne nyen re shin do ya do ro la ne che ji ro ba na ro che san de ne solde 다 대당 대송제 solde bien bayan so chogro wa 되는 solde 양자 는 제고 그래.
So now, if you want to have this prayer or supplication, the basis for our practice is Buddha Shakyamuni, right? So you should visualize or see him as the essence of all the Buddhas of the three times in the 10 directions, and then like supplicate, please think of me, please please help me that my meditation may be successful, please bestow all the accomplishments upon me, help me in my meditation. So then think in this way again and again and again. Or if you have other kinds of prayers or supplication, then you can also do them and do them again and again.
는 solde de cheben jola chumden de no to je ba chenbo kan de yin da yin ne xian de song ji ne che rang la che lam ngo zhe yin san na wa chen song sam an chumden de wei du xue ne ni so so la tim rang ni de lung a ye sum da chumden de ko song to sum ye men de jo song sam go re.
So then, after our prayer to Buddha Shakyamuni, we should consider, of course, Buddha Shakyamuni has vast compassion, and we ask him to please give the blessing, or please bestow the blessing and the compassion. And then we visualize that Buddha Shakyamuni dissolves into light and dissolves into us. And then we should contemplate, meditate that our mind and the mind of all Buddhas has become inseparable. Okay, now we will contemplate on that for a short while.
So Adenje Jabrok ye kabla salda vedan danda soldepche ge salda yulde gyur chogere chumden de shagye toba mayamba denen goromba jenda dang suzu ge lama da dang enchere se la soba suzu kang nam meba yeba denza nama da mren gyur chogere.
For both the practice of refuge and and the prayer, it is fine to change the object of your focus. You could change it to Guru Padmasambhava, or your own Guru, or Avalokiteshvara, to whichever, like to whomever you have devotion for. You can change it.
Lazo ta tende jene da ngoshi shine de ngazo anda shine komna jedang naga tangi milawa mangbore ne tanda ngazo migi yul migden yul jene kejeje shegi.
Now for the main part of our meditation, the practice of shamatha. There are many different ways of meditating on shamatha, and the one that we are going to do now is taking a specific object as our focus.
Ni tamigden kasawara shino komna chik sangwa na chik ngamba dang dende kaya mare ani kangsak sozo sozo la kang pendo chik chimbo yungu yume te kyabar chang mare.
And for the type of shamatha meditation where you have an object of focus, it's not the case that there's one good type of meditation and one bad type of meditation. That's not the case. It is just that you should do whatever helps you according to the person. The right meditation should be done.
Dila da danda ngazo migi yula daya ni chidi sozo dunla danda kare chala do dila ni lulu chene samla kaya dango mare sangam kaya samla dango mare dila tagi yu nyamba je loji de maje bekana ni lulu chene migi mi hyu kyamne madaro na dine jine lulu taro che kare
No.
chungna digre chala di dan di sana yo mare.
Now for our practice, we will focus on an object in front of us. So whichever object is right in front of you, please focus on that. And then just keep a relaxed focus on it. And just keep the thought, I will watch this object. Whatever happens, I will watch this object. And don't forget that. That is the mindfulness that we keep. Do not forget this intention. I will focus on this object. And whatever comes up, whatever happens, you will only do this.
Laso so ni ta mi ji chala chala ta ko na ta de u ji pong de u ta de u ko re ta mi la khale chum bu yong da dang su bu khang ta kha de ga da dang de ne ma yin ba ta de u thong de u ji ko re
The object that you choose as your focus point should be something that is easy to watch. There shouldn't be any difficulty watching it, neither in your like in the way that you look at it or in how you have to hold your body to look at it.
ni ta ta ye chidan kare da ne ke yo ma re de ni shine ya go ndrum ge yo ba sonam yang no ba che ro sa do yo na an chum den de ge ku ku sa de na yin ji me ni no do do ji ko ma re ku bar yo na da tanga yo na da kare chu na de ge re den de la ta tum na 네, 손놈당 신은 얘가 줄도 그래. 손놈 사야 신은 줄이야.
Whatever you would like to watch for this practice of shamatha, it doesn't make a difference if you're just trying to accomplish shamatha or practice shamatha. But if you would also like to gather merit with your practice, then you can focus on a representation of the Buddha. So that could be either a statue of the Buddha or a tanka, a painting, a picture. So if you observe or watch or take this as your focus point for your meditation, then you will both practice shamatha and also gather virtue, gather merit.
좀 된데 이다 골라서 뭐도 그 전부 이제 타니 오제 근데 타지 많이 받대. 갈래 용으로 다 되고 그래. 야나 대가 야나 중중에는 대라다는 데가 빠르다 오지. 야나 데가 야나 저랑이 랩톱도 더 폰당 되는 나라 빠르잖아 데가 다 되오지. 대가리나 대가 다 되고 맞고나 밥이나 밥 다 되오지.
Mhm.
당부 중 하나 다 되고 말해. 세상에는 미래 되어요 말와 통 되어지고 그래.
Yeah, so then Khenpo demonstrated how it can be uncomfortable to look if the our object of focus, for example, the Buddha statue, is not right, if it's not positioned correctly. So we can either look at it straightly, like to the front, or somewhat downwards. Like we can also have a picture on our laptop or on your phone, whatever is comfortable. So it's if it's too small, if your object of focus is too small, then it won't be comfortable. But if it's too big, then it also won't be comfortable.
되니 팔아 근데 전에 다양 길은 다양 방법 되어요 말해.
So if you look like for that direction or that direction, then it won't be comfortable at all.
네. 내 방법 간다. 되어지고 그래.
For beginners, it's important that it is very comfortable.
네 갈래 장마 탭 사오줄라는 거 넘어 가립 주나요. 가래요 말해. 제마 장마 야고 탭 사온 줄라. 네 간대잖아요, 그래.
Later, if you practice more and you become better, then it is fine to focus on whatever you want.
나서는 단단 가서 양 소좀 줄라. 잘라 가래요 나들 흘려지는 서로나.
And now, please, in a relaxed way, just watch whichever object is there in front of you.
맞소. 다 당보 신내 된데 엄용도 니 윤웅보 샘제지도 내가 말해. 남도 뭐뭐 레용 그래. 딜라는 가서 조답고 세건다나 당보 조바 세그래. 그 양자 남도 뭐뭐 레고 양 제진지 셈네. 양자 네 다야 탑시던 거래. 양자 남도 레용 그래. 양자 다야 탑시던 거래. 윤통 장망세는데 양이 제거래.
As as beginners, for the first time, when we meditate on shamatha like this, then our mind won't remain one-pointedly for a long time. It will stay one-pointedly for a short time, and then a lot of thoughts will come. So we have the so-called 9 ways of settling the mind. And yeah, but in general, what we do is we settle the mind, and then we get distracted, a lot of thoughts come, and then we return with our mindfulness to the object of focus, and then again thoughts come, and then we settle our mind again. So for this, for beginners, it is said that there should be sessions of short duration and many times.
So ne teora ina solo no.
If you have any questions, please ask them now.
Hey, Kambala, thank you so much for your generous teachings. I had a question about meditation, which you, sorry, that's not in Tibetan. I just realized. We do a meditation in the Charitable Excellence, which is part of Dharmasan, part of Rinpoche's mandala. And it's been written by Lama Tenzin. And in this meditation, it's we start with the bodhicitta prayer, and then we think, now I will practice just as all of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas did in the past. You know, my effort in this is the only hope for beings in this dark age. Like, I will pursue in the paramitas. I will persevere. And I was wondering about that prayer and if that would be different from the bodhicitta prayer, because we do it specifically after the bodhicitta prayer, which is a very specific prayer. So I'm just wondering if you can comment on why Lama Tenzin would have structured the prayer in that way, and not necessarily just as a supplication in the way that you described that we should just do now.
아니, tampo di kenangi sunchila tuchina de je tuchina so. Ani jiwa karelana kong de Taras Triple Excellence 공격이래. 아니 디캅수 라마 텐진기 림바직 söbare. 아니 림바디낭라 당포 장첩 셈키에기 솔럽직이어래. 아니 제라 셈바직이어래. 아니 디 장첩 셈키 제라래. 지네 디낭라 양 솔럽 디낭라 카레요래. 사나 ngai ngai drupa de semchen tamchila pentok tokpa shok ani nga gongin semchen pentok wa chedu ani nga Tsondru cheyin semchen tamchigi chedu ani ngen gompa de sangirang jangchup sempa ngompa tagarang nangshin yongwa shok ani jiwa kare sana di kongi jiwa karesna di jangchup semke tang kandes shenbare kaisana di nangla jangchup semke drabo soldep drabo re yine jangchup semke gi soldep myoshi jelare jiwa karesna lama tenzin gi kandes shenpa di soson di kerang gi sumpana shin soldebre yana
Di semjere. Jabro semjini nane semjere.
This is bodhicitta from among recent bodhicittas.
예, 몸배 섬제 주배 섬지는 니나네 소처와 나나데 몸배 섬제래.
Mhm. From among the two types of bodhicitta in aspiration and bodhicitta in application, this is bodhicitta in aspiration.
그래서
Can ask in Tibetan.
선생님 캔포나 나가 조금 갑도 믹 좀네 갑야 믹 제네 갑야 딜라 케바 카리나. So the question is, what is the difference if we meditate with our eyes open or closed?
저당 신내 삼라나 제발 좀 해요 말해. 가려 검 믹순나야 되그래 믹당나야 되그래 꼭 증거도 당 아니 좀 된데 영어라 믹바 살다베당 아니 잘라 믹바데 된소이나 믹당 마당 제발 좀 면도 딱 믹이 되네 처음에나 딱이 임베 가요라 딱이 임베 좀 되네 콜라서 바다이나 믹마자가 메래 신내라 대점 제발 좀 말해 이나야 학동 제갑라 믹체나 야가 요래 학동 마음바 믹체는 검도 요나 아니 신내 갑라야 믹체네 장마당 거래 믹 좀니 검대도 믹체는 되는 제가 빼갈래 용 그래 산에 신내 추는 용도 말해 아니 장마당에 다시는 갈래 그래 인기도 신내라 제발 요 말해 학동라 믹체소나 학동기 율라제를 편도체 요래
So generally for shamatha, there is not that big of a difference whether we keep our eyes closed or open. If we're focusing on our breath, or if we are visualizing Buddha Shakyamuni, or if our object of focus is the sounds around us, then it won't make that much of a difference whether our eyes are opened or closed. And of course, if we meditate on an object in front of us, then our eyes have to be open. There's no choice. So yeah, for shamatha, it doesn't make that big of a difference whether they're open or closed. But for vipassana, it is better to keep them open, because yeah, for when we first meditate on shamatha with our eyes closed all the time, it might be difficult when we start meditating when we suddenly meditate with our eyes open. But nevertheless, it is still better to meditate on vipassana with your eyes open. So in short, it doesn't make that big of a difference for shamatha, but for vipassana, it's better to meditate with open eyes.
이나양 믹좀 되나 믹버체지고 영어라 편도 좀 보여야는데 심살차 영어라 내가 좀 보여야 팁자로 나도 쇼셔도 그래
However, if we close our eyes, then it is beneficial for making our mind one-pointed, but it's not helpful for making our mind clear. It tends to happen that when we meditate with our eyes closed, that our mind becomes more dull or more like slothful.
신내에 나도劳动에 나도 공내 셔버 청마 뢰샤 그래 술 담랍 그래 담서 쭉 그다음에 말해 미양 당 그래 암저양 려 그래 나고라서 청마 당래데 템바지 셈네 되네 되네 전에 살차야 야고 용거라 미과양 세주도 대라 편도체 용거래 다디 용하고 용거 졸라 ene tangpo mi zum ka le mi dang chang nan de.
For either shamatha or vipassana, for any kind of meditation that you do, it's very important that you are relaxed. It is said that we should be somewhat like tight, but we shouldn't actually be very tight in our visual focus or in our like what we hear in our body. There shouldn't be tightness there, but we should keep our mindfulness one-pointedly. And if we do that, then it will be helpful both for our clarity and for our focus. So you can also practice in the beginning with closed eyes and then slowly progress to meditating with your eyes open.
We can change the situation outside of our body when we are not having any role in it. We are just merely an object, and a group of people, or we can call the culture, or tradition, or customs, will make us a victim. And so that's why I want to change that situation. And how to change the outer situation? I know that meditating inside our body will change the outer situations, and so that's why the inner situation change, that will make outer situation change. But since so long period of time, I'm trying to change that situation, but we cannot change others' mind. But this situation cannot be changed. I never harm, hurt, or insulted anybody, and I'm treated like an object. And see now, before few like 1 year, my body is like, but nowadays not, my body is very much attractive, huh? So people try to destroy my body. This is a divine instrument. I want to uh, have fulfill my goal of self-realization for it. This is self-realization. Body is for self-realization. So now they are mistreating. So I'm not finding any purpose of my life. My life is not being meaningful and purposeful.
Can you maybe say your question in like
so my
2
question
sentences?
is how to change this situation where I am just merely an object since last 2017. So I want to change this situation just by meditating, because doing social things I will giving knowledge. I have uploaded more than 300 videos on YouTube, and after that government stopped me, and too much forcing me, so I escaped from my country since last 12 months.
Can I maybe, your question is, how can I change the
Yes,
outer
outer
situation
situation, that is.
using the inner meditation?
Yes, yes.
And
Yes.
okay, that's all. Any dortuna the chi netang nang di gompa di kanjes gompa di peche tangi chi netang gyur tokire kongi nokcha pemangpo chungsong ani chi netang la ani re di dortuna di insere.
어디 그래서 그런 남성 뷰르서 근데 뱀에서 갈래 가버려. 나 갈래 테스 나zo 가서 그래. 전주에서 그래. 전주는 아니 샘경강 뷰링보 문주름 파고서 봐.
알았어.
이 전에는 저랑 오중업도 신내 검대바이나라 아니 저랑 그 서로와 나서 발라 메바데네 검자이로 이나라 아니 대둑 참마 나 가서 그래. 징어발라 쪼라 밀레바 징어발라 쪼라 밀레바 셈라 쪼라 레기오바 angobara mileba mara legire de so chawa samyin bare asem de gyuro tang tumna ne pena dewa da kibu shuju chungwa ina ya ani gyujin sozo ji sedi da ngama la so ba gyujin ramandla tenne dewa da chungwa re ta di shara yabore sambara da dongal mangbo ji chungwa ina ya sedi da ngama de ji ni gyujin mangbo la tenne chungju ji dana nyong de gyure da di ma se ro shara gi yabore kare ina ya 아니 야불라 트트베 탑셔던 거래. 근데 정말 찍니 삼로당마다 팬도 가 용을 칼래 커버래. 망보되는 삼로당당당당. 근데 갈래. 님도 됐어 그래. 대낭날 하버더니 다 장주지 삼세근 지금 된소 양재 삼로당 거래. 근데 저는 냐마진이당 다와진이 담에 가셔로 요구용 쓰기래. 망저 때서 모르게래. 장주지 삼 민제 된소 그 양내야는 공부래.
It is quite difficult to change the outer circumstances immediately with your meditation, but it is possible to change the outer circumstances very, very slowly by being diligent and being enthusiastic in your practice and being very, very patient in your mind. So whatever you're meditating, whether it is shamatha meditation or whether you're meditating on the feelings that arise in your body, yeah, so for any kinds of these meditations, it takes a long time, a lot of patience. And now for all the pleasant and unpleasant outer circumstances that arise, our happiness and our suffering doesn't depend on these outer circumstances. It depends on our own mind. So in that sense, it does help to meditate because our happiness and our suffering depends on the mind. And in this way, when we change our mind, it can have an impact on us. So for example, what that would look like is if we have good circumstances in our life, thanks to what we did in this life, the causes and conditions that came together from this life and from previous lifetimes, we get some pleasant situations, then we become happy from that, and we see that as good. But if due to causes and conditions, due to many different types of causes and conditions, there are unpleasant outer circumstances, then instead of getting unhappy, then we can think, now this is purifying something, this is clearing away something, so that's good. So in this way, whatever happens outside, whatever outside circumstances there are, we are able to change them into a way that makes it like comfortable or pleasant for us by cultivating our mind, by meditating. And yeah, so just by meditating a few times, then there won't be any change. It happens very, very slowly. So the main thing that is important to meditate on in this context is meditating on bodhicitta and on compassion. So you should contemplate bodhicitta and compassion again and again and again. But it's going to take time. And for some people, there is observable change after just one day of practicing or 1 month of practicing. But yeah, that's just for some people. For most people, it takes a lot of time. So then Khenpo concluded with, you should meditate again and again on bodhicitta and compassion.
tenji jine mizoya shoba ngawo ne yangdo gomsona ne pendo re.
And for shamatha, it is beneficial if we rise early in the morning and then meditate immediately again and again.
Also,
Okay, we'll stop here for now.
Sonam le dam je zeba Omne nebe dana bam je Yega na je bala droba Sebe zole droba sho Chanjo zemjo remboje Mage banam ge gyurje Kemba nyamba meba ya Kone gondu pewara sho Mula zo tojiche
Thank you.
Dula jimajang
See you next week.